Yo guys, I'm HP, this is Dr. Pink, and today I'm going to talk about rock guitar building speed 1. What are we talking about today? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, and also join the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. So, the topic today is if you're an intermediate player and you want to go to the next level, there are several steps needed and they're kind of long lasting, and we're gonna go through this process step by step, and I'll show you what I mean with playing. So you currently play something like this. Maybe that's your current playing level. Now you want to go to the next level, following chords using and so on. So we want to take you from a typical pentatonic player to a guy who can really follow the chords, has some really cool mega chops together, and this is going to be a longer process. Now you're going to follow all the tutorials which are coming now, building speed 1, 2, 3 and so on. We're starting today with the first one, and you really need to have your pentatonic positions together and have a certain speed already. Otherwise, you're not an intermediate player. If you're unsure what it means to be an intermediate player, check on my website, and there's a course which takes you from basic to intermediate rock guitar. So, now let's get started. First, we need to check out the first thing when you start going to the next level is that, you know, till now you probably always play pentatonic over any kind of rock tune, and mostly it worked, and sometimes it didn't, but somehow you just went through the whole process. Now this phase will end and we will start following the chords. So first step is you need to understand the chord progression, which modes are played, and how to start using modes, how to build up the technique to use those modes in a cool way, you know, all this stuff. So we're going step by step. So now, first the chord progression. It's really a simple one here, a typical one, by the way. And that's also good news. Once you know certain chord progressions or certain combinations of chords, you know them all. You know, it's not a big science, the whole thing. So here we are in G. E flat, C, so these are the chords. We have G minor, we are in minor. How do we know that it is minor, by the way? I must say most of the rock tunes are in minor, so you cannot really go wrong. And if you have these typical progressions, like so with the second chord, you already know it's a minor tune, because here we have the E flat, and this is part of the G minor scale, so you already know this is an E flat. So this G minor, and C is also minor chord. So now let's go to the close view, and we're going to check out step by step what you need to know, and then we start building up the speed and knowledge. Knowing what you're doing is the main key if you want to play fast. I mean, there are some guys out there that probably can play faster than me, you know, stuff like that, but I have no clue what they're doing. And the really cool thing is when you know what you're doing and you can play this, you know, stuff like that. But we want to take it too hard at the moment. I created a track, here's 80 BPM, so this is a reasonable tempo where you can play 60 notes, but let's now check everything step by step. Okay, I already said we were in G minor. The chords are really simple, G5, Then I used E flat 5, but I used the one which creates that dropped sound. You have a bar here in the 6 and here in the 8. Same on C. When you do these types of chords, it creates the illusion that you're playing a 7-string guitar or you're using a drop tuning. That's really cool. And back to G. So, the chords are G minor to E flat major and C minor. But now we're using 7 chords, so there will be G minor 7 to E flat major 7 to C minor 7. Back to G minor. Now, which modes are played here? On G, you play the regular G minor scale. And now we're starting, when you want to get fast and go to the next level, you need to start working with 3 note per string patterns, because that makes you fast and also gives you a better overview over the entire fretboard. I mainly use 2 types of patterns. I use one with the root note on the E string. This will be this one here. And one with the root note on the A string. Why? 2 patterns are enough. Why? Because if you do this one here, if you move it up till here, and you continue to do the G minor scale here, again with 3 note per string, then you cover up the entire fretboard only with 2 patterns. See, this way. And then you're already up here. So this covers up most things. So it's really useful. You can also learn other pens, of course, but if you use the one with root note on E string, one with the root note on A string, then you're pretty cool to go. So in this case, we just focus on the patterns which we are currently using, and we start to work on the technical exercises. But understanding is also very important, and also ear training. If you play, if you don't hear what you play, in your inner ear, you will never really get fast. Probably you can, but as one of my teachers once said to me, it will sound nice, but it doesn't make any sense. You need to start making sense in what you're playing, so you also have to include your ears. So, first pattern we're using here is the G minor, is this one here. And here we go over 5 frets, and when you do that, you take index, middle, pinky. You could also, some guys use ring and pinky, but I would not recommend that, because these 2 fingers are anatomically together, so they're not so flexible like middle finger and pinky. So I really would recommend that. So if you play that, start working on always playing in patterns. And if you play 16 notes, you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Make an accent on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, 1. And in this case, it resolves perfectly. If you go up and down, it resolves perfectly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're finished on a 1. So 1. And with your picking hand, try to optimize the movement of your hand. And I played everything palm muted. Get in a position where you have as less movement as possible. Okay? You have to figure out that yourself, which is the best position for you. So we have this one here, we have G minor, this will be Aeolian. On the E flat we're using Lydian. What is Lydian? basically the same notes, but we're starting on the E flat. This creates different types of intervals, and it's important then you switch between chords, okay? So you play first G minor. On E flat you think, oh, E flat Lydian, this will be this one here. Same thing again, 3 notes per string. Again, 1. Okay, that would be E flat Lydian, and C minor would be Dorian. Now we're also with root note on the A string, and Dorian is like this. Yo, once you can play them somehow, you can try to play it with a backing track or any backing track. You can create your own backing track. I've selected, as I already said, 80 BPM. This already sounds cool, and it's still slow enough that you're able to really fulfill the task. Works really cool. Now, when you just make it one way, you know, it doesn't really finish properly. And there's a trick to make a run over 2 octaves to resolve itself properly. You add a chromatic note somewhere. In case of the Aeolian, you add it between the flat 7 and the 1. So you do this. See? In this case, now we have to do another fingering, so it's a little bit tricky. And also, you make it twice. It resolves perfectly, so 1, 2, 3. So you finished up here. On the E flat, there you cannot do it. You do it between the 5th and the 6th. You make the chromatic run. So here. And on the C, again between the flat 7 and the 1. Resolves really nicely. So let's try this. Oopsie. I do it once again. E flat, C minor, yeah, good that I made a mistake. You can see that I also make mistakes, and I mean, you know, in the practical use, you will never play this stuff like so methodical, but it's a way to get into the vibe of following the chords while you play a tune and play a solo. That's the main thing you need to learn, that while you play, you always have this grid with the chords running, and you always know where you are. That's the main key to get to the qualm of an advanced rock guitar player. So now this is enough for today. This should be challenging enough that this goes really smoothly. You know, but I want to add something else, arpeggios. So we have, as we follow chords either with the scale or the arpeggio. The arpeggio, you just play the root note, the tri, the fifth, flat 7. So in case of G minor, this will be this. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, fifth, flat 7, 1. Okay, so this will be G minor 7. Now, there are two ways to play this with your right hand. You can play it with the alternate picking, so always or if you're brave, you want to start with economy picking. So in any spot you can do, you don't change the direction of your picking, and so then it will be like this. So you have down, up, down, down. And you have two spots here where you do it down. And when you come back, you have up, up. And here again, up, up. Okay, so that will be that. Econom picking is really tough, I can tell. But I mean, if you're starting now, you can give it a try, and it makes you play way smoother than if you do alternate picking. But you can also select alternate picking. Same thing with the E flat, the arpeggio. Now it goes like this. And we're using we're putting the arpeggios inside these patterns so that you have an orientation. As I said, these two patterns cover the entire fretboard. Okay, so E flat will be like this. And if you do it with economy picking, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, and becoming bigger. And here you have this stretch figure, which is quite tough. But just keep it going. You know, you need to do your repeats. And C minor, same thing. If you do with economy picking, it's down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? Sounds way smoother than the other. And then you can play them. Try to play them with 80 BPM. Okay. Now we had the last exercise for today. That will be enough for a month, I guess. You know, this stuff takes really time. If you're new to this stuff, it really takes time. Keep it going and don't think, oh, I have to play it in 1 week. This will not happen. Till you get your automatisms done, it really takes time. Also, your hand needs to get used to these stretch figures. And just don't push it too hard, otherwise you can run into injuries, you know, like here it starts to hurt and stuff like that. Just keep it cool and enjoy the ride. And it takes quite a while. That's why it's going to be a longer process now with this course here. Now we do these ones here. Economy picking, little economy picking here. We're doing an arpeggio, just to try it, G minor. It goes like this. Now we're doing economic picking. So, well, you can do alter picking, but I recommend economic picking. So down, down, down. 3 times down, then up, pull off, up, down. You have 3 times down, up, pull off, up. And we have 2 figures. We have the minor figure. This is the minor figure for G minor. Then we're going to E flat major. This is the major figure. But the rest stays the same, just here we have something different. We go to C minor, it's up here. Same thing again. So now, there are 2 ways to do this. And I recommend at the moment just playing 60 notes till you have this movement properly. You can play this in sextols, then it resolves perfectly because there's 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you want to play sextols, be my guest, but that's quite tough. I don't recommend it, but I come to something easier just in a second. I'm just going to show you how sextols sound. Oh man, I went on the cable with the chair. So again. I was a bit too fast at the beginning. That's also when you do sextol. Sextol will come later. But you can do this as the first things in 60 notes, but then it doesn't resolve perfectly. But then you make 3 repeats. And then you finish the chord. 2. 2. And you make this with down, up, pull off, up, 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 up. Okay, let's do this in 60 notes. You need to do 3 repeats and then it resolves perfect. Quite cool. I would start with this, don't go with the sextols. You can do that later because we're really trying to build this whole thing up. Yeah, that's enough for the moment. And you can start mixing up pentatonic, you know, your regular playing with, just try to follow the chords from time to time and just build up the whole thing. And then maybe you can make it simple improvisation just by, and then starting to already use this stuff. You know, I show you some examples. And so already works. So it's, but you first need to build up the flexibility and the speed, and just do it on a regular basis. Daily will be the best. Check out your practice plan. If you have like 20 minutes per day, put 5 minutes into technical exercises, because that's, if you want to get faster and more flexible, the technique is what always stops you. Yo, that was Rock Guitar Building Speed 1. I hope you enjoyed it. It's at the moment maybe a bit annoying because, you know, it's like, it's not really the qualm, but if you really want to get faster, you need to build the whole thing up, and don't forget that you should also hear what you play, pre-hear, not just noodle it down, something like that. I can do it. You need to be able, to, while you play, that you have an imagination what comes, which note is the next one, and that's what is the really important thing, and which makes you fast. If a lot of guys out there they're faster players than me on the fretboard, but probably their ears are way slower, That's what then teachers say sounds nice, but it doesn't make any sense, Well, I'm exaggerating a little bit now. Good. I wrote down these exercises as tabs, plus this backing track is available in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. Please join there, and you'll also find the rock guitar intermediate course, which takes you from the basic or beginners to intermediate level if you're still not there where you need to be. Yo, that's all me and Dr. Pinko having to say. See you guys.